Welcome to black metal review time at Rauta. Here we have some Finnish black metal, which I'm gonna tell you a little bit about. So this is Devouring Star, a Finnish black metal name, only a few years old. Second album called The Arteries of Heresy, co-released by Dark Descent and Territory Possessions. Second full-length album in nice digipack format. Not much to see underneath the CD, obviously, very plain in design. And inside we have the booklet here, which is nice white and very beautiful logo. As you can see, just more white here. Inside we have sort of handwritten lyrics and some more interesting, beautiful images to create sort of a feeling with what this album is all about. And that is the atmosphere. Is one of the key elements actually here. Well, we could debate for ages that which album does not have everything to do with atmosphere, but with bands such as Devouring Star, the atmosphere, I mean the overall feeling, is more important than with so many other CDs and bands and whatnot. Now, before I start to talk about music, it is, I guess, worth mentioning that this is one of those bands that is probably more known outside its home country, Finland, because the band has kind of a veil of secrecy, mysticism, and it's not so much an identified band with band members and all that stuff. And as such, it's pretty unknown band, very underground in a sense. But then again, outside Finland, there is more kind of a cult following to this band. And after hearing this late CD, I don't no longer wonder why, because the music is actually goddamn good. Now, it's kind of hard to label Devouring Star's music in one way, just one box and all that stuff, because this is basically slow tempo, very atmospheric black metal, very sinister, very gloomy feeling, kind of a malevolent in nature. The overall kind of a feeling is all about kind of this impending doom. Just everything is kind of turned dark and, just, I don't know, destroy the world or just fill it in cold void or darkness. But there are some faster parts as well, which actually work nicely in contrast to the slower parts in order to, say, break this kind of a monotone way of creating riffs and all that stuff. Now, this album is only 35 minutes long, but it's all that it takes to actually be this kind of a full-length album and delivering the message. Well, I'm not gonna say that I understand what the message here is, but it's figuratively speaking anyway. The problem would be with longer full track length that, this is kind of a two-way album in a way. On the other hand, it's mostly the slow-paced riffs, almost kind of doomy, almost like funeral doom going black metal, kind of a way of creating riffs and building those kind of lengthy tracks. But also, since it has these faster tracks, it's going like two directions, and it's, jumping back and forth, maybe the point being more on the slow sides. And I think that is way better on this album, but these faster parts kind of create this value for the slow parts, because if it was just slow all the way down, it could easily become way too monotone an album. But these faster parts, ironically enough, are not as good as the slow parts, but they are in kind of a, synthesis. In a way, you need the both parts to make it whole, if you get my drift. Now, like I said, this is not an album, which is so much leaning on single riffs or even single songs. While the tracks are quite lengthy, they can maintain the strong atmosphere throughout the whole album. And once you're finished, at least in my opinion, they're not so much single parts, which are like, in your brain running in circles and you're like, wow, what a riff. This is not so much riff oriented or even song oriented album, as it's all about this really dark and oppressive atmosphere. So those who are more into, say, song oriented, like hit songs and whatnot, or memorable riffs and guitar solos. This is not an album for that kind of listener. This is very much like the opposite of, say, Emperor's classic albums or Mayhem's The Mysterious Tom Savanas. This is more leaning towards the Burzum type of atmospheric black metal, but then again, totally different than that as well. Like I said, it's kind of a funeral doomish way of creating black metal. I don't know if I'm just, taking this out of my ass, but kinda reminds me of the feelings I got from listening to Dark Space and that, because it's more about this darkness and slow pace rather than riffs and guitar melodies or melodic vocals, clean vocals, blah blah blah. It's more about this monotone becoming a power that you can actually kind of get yourself drawn into, or maybe draw that power into you. I don't know which way you rather wanted to see or feel happening, but that's the whole point here. Overall, good album. Overall, maybe the lack of kind of a more clear sound is a little bit bothering me, because now the faster parts become kind of a mushy. But then again, I don't know if it actually bothers all the people. Me, a little bit, but I can totally live with that because, like I said, it's all about atmosphere, not so much about single riffs and all that stuff. So it's kind of acquired taste of a black metal album, but then again, not that hard to get into as long as you enjoy dark music and this kind of oppressive, gloomy atmosphere. So definitely give this one a chance. It's out on 26th of October, so go check it out as soon as you can. There are also already some samples out online, and maybe the full-length album will come there soon. So keep on checking and hope you keep liking. See you soon and cheers.